The episode begins with a girl being captured by a guardian who, in truth, is a sorcerer in disguise planning to use the skin of her face for magic. In the middle of this tense moment, the protagonist, Zagan, appears and tells the sorcerer to stop that racket. The sorcerer tries to bargain for his life, but in the end Zagan blows the guy's head apart, which makes the girl faint. Seeing that she's wearing very little, Zagan tries to fix the situation and notices a cross on her, meaning she's from the church, and since Zagan is a sorcerer, he could be blamed for everything that happened. Before he leaves, a friend of his, also a sorcerer, named Barbados shows up and asks whether Zagan intends to use the girl. After all, sorcerers only care about power, and the girl has good mana to be used as a sacrifice. But Zagan simply takes the girl out of there because he has principles, then heads off to take a nap. Barbados keeps pressing him about why Zagan is such a nice mage and, at a certain point, brings news. Among the 13 strongest sorcerers, one had recently died, which meant a new sorcerer could rise to the supreme rank known as Archdemon. Later, Zagan and his friend head to an auction of the dead sorcerer's belongings in case there's something interesting. Barbados asks Zagan to lend him some money because he's broke, promising in return to help Zagan interact with a girl, something Zagan isn't good at because of his scary face. Arriving at the auction, Zagan says he has no interest in sacrificing people, because to him a sorcerer should know how to wield magic on his own. When the auction starts, they see several famous, powerful figures, strong enough to be candidates for the next archdemon, and they talk about Zagan. Even though he's too young to hold any titles yet, he's already an excellent sorcerer. Then the auctioneer announces that one of the sacrifices will be sold, an elf, and Zagan falls in love the moment he sees her. In this world, elves are rare and considered almost divine beings. The bidding starts at 10,000 coins, but Zagan blurts out 1 million straight away, because he can't even think properly. He just wants to help that elf and see her smile. He rushes to the stage to get her, but sees her cold, expressionless gaze. On top of that, she's bound by a magic chain that no one there knows how to remove. Zagan says he can't wait to hear the sounds that come from her mouth, and everyone takes it in the worst possible way. When Zagan takes the elf to his castle, he's mortified and spends a long time wondering what his first words to her should be, until she herself asks a question, whether she's going to be killed. That scares Zagan, because the girl is clearly traumatized by everything that's going on. He says he would never do that, which only makes things worse as she assumes she'll be tortured. Zagan tries to clarify and asks her name, Nephilia, and she explains that if that's hard to pronounce he can call her Nephi. That makes Zagan happy, because a nickname means he's a bit closer to her. She then talks about her life, saying she's a cursed child, and reveals she's still a virgin, which leaves Zagan extremely embarrassed. He insists he would never use her for experiments or anything else, but he also can't bring himself to admit he bought her because he fell in love. In the end, he keeps his composure and asks her to choose a room in the castle, which makes no sense to Nephi, because she can't understand what Zagan wants from her. Zagan remembers that in that world slaves are treated as trash, and that he himself was once a poor child who suffered a lot. After that, he asks Nephi to live for him. He then shows her around the castle and plans to give her a room with a good view, up high, and she immediately thinks that means she'll be left hanging there. So Zagan tries to undo that thinking and show he's a good person. When they reach the room, he notices it's full of torture instruments. Nephi resigns herself to suffering there, but Zagan instantly blows everything up with magic, which frightens her. She goes to the window, sees the moon, and is amazed. She asks if it's really okay for her to stay in that room, and, for the first time, smiles and thanks Zagan. He gets flustered. It's been a long time since anyone thanked him. The next day, Zagan is running on no sleep because he couldn't leave Nephi alone in an empty room. He kept her at his side to protect her and keep her company. When she wakes up, he shows up with breakfast. She says good morning, and he doesn't even know how to reply. He shows the food, and Nephi finds it odd that they're eating the same meal. So, because it's very simple, basically the kind of food slaves get. Zagan notices that Neffy feels a bit sorry for him and realizes that, yes, jerky can pass for rations, but he never noticed because that's what he's always eaten. Neffy says she can cook for him, which excites Zagan. He really wants to taste her cooking. They head to the city to shop, but riding a carriage costs money and Zagan spent all of his buying Neffy, so they go on foot. He wonders if he should have robbed that man, but drops the idea. Neffy might think he's evil. At that moment, they hear screams. The coachman is being robbed along with the other passengers. Neffy feels awful, so to comfort her Zagan decides to help, attacking the bandits. Even as a sorcerer, he can tank physical blows. Then a sorcerer allied with the bandits appears to destroy Zagan and forms a magic circle. Zagan instantly pulls the fire out of the circle, steals that magic for himself, obliterates the sorcerer, and drives the bandits away. He wonders if that helped his relationship with Neffy. The people he saved thank him, and the coachman invites him to escort them to the city and even pays him a bit. Zagan's never gone through that. His face always scared people, but with Neffy beside him, he can finally be more accepted. In the city, Zagan thinks about what a girl needs to live well, but Neffy says she'll be content with whatever he chooses. He notices her clothes are uncomfortable and takes her to buy others. The clerk gets excited when she sees Neffy, then notices the collar and realizes she's a slave. Zagan remembers the collar draws too much attention. The first outfit Neffy tries on is very revealing, and she's mortified, begs Zagan not to look. He quickly asks the clerk for something else, a classic maid outfit with healing boots that prevent wear from walking too much. He asks if she likes it and buys it for her. The clerk tells Neffy she's lucky to have a master who cares so much. Next, he goes to a blacksmith to remove Neffy's collar. The problem is that it's enchanted, and if they try to force it off, Neffy's head could be cut off. The only way is with the original key, which belonged to the former archdemon. When Zagan goes to pay, the blacksmith refuses. Zagan saved his life in the past, and he never had the chance to repay him. As they leave, the blacksmith notices Zagan's frightening look has changed. Now he seems calmer and happier. As evening falls, Zagan and Neffy go eat. She asks if he really intends to remove the collar and whether he isn't afraid she'll run away. Zagan answers that, either way, they need to find a way to remove it, and Neffy is happy. Internally, though, Zagan wouldn't mind if she left. He just wants her to be happy, because he knows what it's like to be oppressed. When the food arrives, Neffy can barely pick up the tomatoes until she uses a spoon, and she loves eating real food instead of rations. Zagan also struggles with the tomato, so Neffy offers to feed him, and he gets very embarrassed. She asks to do useful things for him, and he replies by feeding her. The other customers laugh at them for being such a cute couple. Meanwhile, the girl Zagan saved at the beginning wonders why a sorcerer would save her, since as someone from the church, she was taught sorcerers are cruel villains, until her superior appears and says her next mission is to eliminate Zagan. Even knowing he saved her, she accepts. Days later, Neffy waits for Zagan to wake up and says she's already prepared breakfast. She even cleaned the dining hall, which used to look like a slum, and baked bread. Zagan asks if she has eaten. She says no. She forgot to prepare her own food. There's only one chair, so Zagan asks her to sit on his lap. He insists. And in the end, that's what happens. He even feeds her bread, and she tries to feed him too. Then Zagan goes off to read more spells, and Neffy explains that elven mana is different, but she can't use magic. Zagan teaches her about magic runes and all their properties, from the simplest to the most complex, and insists that anyone who knows the basics can use magic. He also warns her to be careful. All his books have traps. She's happy he's sharing something he loves so much with her. She asks what he's seeking with all that magic, and he says survival. As a child, he had to steal to eat, and on a fateful day, he was captured by a sorcerer and nearly died, but in the end managed to kill him. Before Zagan can formally offer to teach her magic, he senses visitors on his lands. The girl he saved, now with church knights. Using a sacred sword, she breaks his barrier, but Zagan immediately appears before them, trying to remember who she is, until he recalls having saved her. He attacks, but the knight's armor is made for that. Even so, Zagan soon defeats them with brute force, snapping a sword with his finger. He even threatens to kill one of them, but the girl knows he won't, because of Nephi. When she strikes with the sacred sword, it cuts through his spells. He can't bring himself to hit her. She seems to be Nephi's age. He asks why she kills sorcerers, since not all are evil, but that only angers her more, and she corners him, revealing she'd been holding back. Zagan wonders if he should kill her, but she tells him to pretend he died by her hand. She can't kill the man who saved her life. He realizes she's risking herself. If anyone found out, it would be bad for her. Nephi appears at that moment, and one of the knights tries to kill her. Zagan saves Nephi, taking a cut. Nephi's fury awakens. She summons branches and binds the knight, but Zagan stops her from going further. A while later, the knights leave. Zagan asks what spell she used. She says it wasn't a spell, it was mysticism, a miraculous power different from sorcery. Since childhood, she's been considered cursed, especially because of her white hair. She says her village was attacked, and she was told to protect everyone with her power, but she was captured instead, and the other elves were killed. Part of her felt glad. She thought they deserved it, and she hates herself for being that kind of person. Zagan comforts her. The elves died because they were weak. That's why he wants to become powerful. He tells a story from his past when he saved a girl and told her to stop being weak. She got angry. He realized that being pampered and having an easy life is a toxic luxury. He asks her to keep living with him, which makes her happy and finally more expressive about her feelings. Right after, Nephi suggests they sleep together because there's only one bed in the castle. Zagan gets the wrong idea, but ends up saying he'll stay in the chair. Nephi offers to be his pillow, and he can't refuse. She says she's only repaying everything he's done for her. Zagan asks why she's interested in magic if she already has massive mysticism and could even surpass him. Hearing that, Nephi decides to get stronger with magic to protect Zagan from possible dangers. Even though Zagan thinks he doesn't deserve it because he's bad, Nephi reassures him. Deep down, he's good. The next day, Barbados shows up for tea with Zagan and is surprised the elf is still alive. He thinks it's a waste not to have used her as a sacrifice. Zagan explains she's his apprentice. Barbados asks whether Zagan is aiming to become an archdemon, and Zagan admits he is. He needs the key to free Nephi, and with that title fewer people will come after him, which keeps Nephi safer. Still, he knows his chances are slim. Over time, Nephi studies more magic and Zagan is proud of her. His life is much better now that he isn't alone, though Nephi still has a long road ahead. A month passes, and the calm ends when a huge bird delivers a letter to Zagan, an invitation to a meeting with the other archdemons. Arriving at their lair beneath the city, Zagan wonders what they want from him. Then comes the reveal. Zagan is the newest archdemon, the youngest in history. He inherits Marcosius's emblem, and, with the title, his mana skyrockets. Zagan asks why they chose him when many sorcerers are stronger. They explain that, although his raw strength is insignificant, no sorcerer can kill him, and he created a unique magic that steals any sorcerer's magic, a tyrannical power befitting an archdemon. Zagan questions giving him so much power. He could steal from the other archdemons, but they already know his weakness, Nephi. The downside of being an archdemon is becoming one with darkness and perhaps never again living the quiet life with Nephi that he loves. Unable to refuse, Zagan asks a favor, accepts the title, returns home, tells Nephi he's the new archdemon, unlocks her collar with Marcosius's key, and tells her to go. She's free. Nephi wakes up in the city, trying to remember what happened. Chasteel, the knight Zagan saved, approaches her, and Nephi accepts she might be killed then and there, but townsfolk who like Nephi defend her and threaten Chasteel. Nephi says Chasteel isn't the reason she looks sad, and everything becomes chaotic. Later, Nephi eats with Chasteel and the clothing shop clerk, and the food reminds her of Zagan, making her cry. She explains she was expelled because Zagan became an archdemon, which shocks the other two. Nephi insists Zagan isn't evil and never abuses the weak. Chasteel already knows, and has always felt Zagan seemed like someone who needed others because he lived in solitude. Church knights arrive wielding dark magic they claim is Zagan's, but it isn't. He's busy dealing with intruders on his land and remembering his time with Nephi. Before leaving, one knight asks Zagan to help Chasteel, since she's fighting to clear his name. There are rumors of an evil mage called Zagan ravaging the city. Manuela, the clerk, arrives saying Nephi has been captured and confronts Zagan for being so cruel to her when all she wanted was to stay by his side. Those words crush Zagan. Furious, he decides to annihilate whoever hurt Nephi. He opens a magic circle and asks Manuela if she wants to come. The knights also ask to help. Zagan already knows exactly who's behind it. Nephi and Chasteel have been imprisoned by Barbados. He tells Nephi that sorcerers have no friends. He wants revenge on Zagan, for the castle, for having spent all his money on Nephi, so he committed crimes and framed Zagan, and now plans to use Nephi as a sacrifice to become an archdemon. Nephi reveals Zagan already became one, which shocks and enrages him. He decides to kill her immediately, but before anything happens, Zagan bursts in, destroys everything, and says he had guessed Barbados's plan long ago. He's only angry because Nephi was hurt. He pummels Barbados and frees Nephi, apologizing for having expelled her. Barbados keeps casting spells, but Zagan obliterates them with a magic he created when he was 8. He not only destroys them, he copies them. He reveals that, as the new archdemon, he's earned the title Sorcerer Slayer. He defeats Barbados but spares him, considering him a good drinking buddy. Even as Barbados threatens to kill him someday, Zagan just tells him to come by the castle more often to talk, and he doesn't want to kill anyone in front of Nephi anyway. At that moment, the magic circle destabilizes because of Zagan's punch. He asks what the hell Barbados was trying to summon with Nephi, a demon, but without a sacrifice, it becomes a shadow with absurd mana, far beyond Zagan's power. Yet the shadow bows to Zagan, or rather to his archdemon emblem. Zagan takes control of it and orders it away. When the dust settles, Manuela and the knights arrive and take Chasteel away. Barbados says he'll bring a fine drink next time. Alone with Nephi, Zagan asks her to be his again. He can't bring himself to say, "I love you," and Nephi accepts, asking him to put the slave collar back on her since that's how they first met. Zagan imagines the collar as an engagement ring, but since he doesn't know how to propose, he just blushes. Days later, Chasteel refuses to kill Zagan and defies the church's orders, saying he's a good person. She's dismissed as an angelic knight, which angers the others, but inspired by Zagan, she decides to follow what she believes. A knight named Raphael appears in the city, a monster in physical strength. Back with Zagan, he notices Nephi trying to prank him with a jump scare. He doesn't fall for it, but he's thrilled that she's trying to cheer him up. She says she made dinner using new recipes Manuela taught her, and Zagan is delighted. In that peaceful moment, a monster invades the castle and quickly reaches the dining hall. Zagan recognizes him from the auction and says he'll only fight after eating Nephi's dessert, but the intruder attacks anyway. Zagan easily defends and fells the man with a single punch. Only, it turns out not to be a man but a little girl, and Zagan feels guilty for having decked a kid. He lets her rest and gives her medicine. When she wakes up, she tries to attack Zagan and then asks why he spared an enemy. Zagan says it was solely because of Nephi. The girl says she wanted to kill Zagan to become stronger, and Zagan quickly realizes she's a dragon. She reminds him of himself as a child. He decides her punishment will be helping Nephi with the cleaning, a way to educate her. The girl, named Foal, is relieved she won't be eaten. Whoever eats dragon flesh gains infinite magic. Zagan says he doesn't need a child's magic, remembers his own hunger, and immediately gives her food, saying the strong must feed the weak, which irritates Foal. Zagan threatens to kill her if she wastes Nephi's food, then heads to the library to study and leaves Neffy to look after the girl. As time passes, Fol opens up. She likes Neffy's cooking, since Zagan has a scary face. If his mouth were bigger, he'd look like a dragon and be even cooler. She says she needs to get stronger and asks why Neffy serves Zagan. Neffy explains she was bought by him but never treated as a slave, and that there she feels loved. Fol says she has no place like that to call home. Time goes by, and Fol adapts to her new life with Zagan and Neffy, even though she keeps threatening to attack Zagan, which he can handle, and she starts to admire him. At the same time, she can't understand how an archdemon allows so much freedom to an enemy. Zagan explains that, either way, she's a child and should be treated like one. Fol cries at the scolding and says she doesn't want to be called a child, just Fol. Neffy notices she's calmer now and no longer afraid of that place, just like Neffy was in her first days there, and she's happy. It even feels like she and Zagan are Fol's parents, which scares Zagan a bit, though he secretly longs for it too. A week after Fol moves in, she writes about what it's like to work with Neffy and notices how Neffy spends a lot of time watching Zagan sleep, but never has the courage to tell him how she truly feels. Zagan spends most of his time studying spells, yet he too struggles to tell Neffy he loves her. Later, Manuela gets excited dressing Fol in new clothes. Fol likes them and thanks Zagan, and once again he imagines himself strolling around with his wife and daughter. Meanwhile, Chasteel wonders why she gave up her armor and position for Zagan and feels honored just by helping him, until she bumps into Zagan and Fol and jokingly asks if they made a daughter that fast. He doesn't even recognize her without the armor. Knights show up, and Fol, on instinct, prepares to attack. Zagan orders her to stop, afraid this might cause problems in the future. Zagan then takes Fol to Marcosius's underground castle. Fol says dragons once lived there, and the place feels familiar. Everyone goes inside, and Zagan tries to get closer to Neffy. Fol notices a magic circle with a draconic pattern. Zagan analyzes it, but doesn't understand much. Fol manages to activate it while Zagan and Neffy are distracted. It opens a path to a huge library, perfect for Zagan to learn Marcosius's secrets. Fol asks to keep living with Zagan because she's enjoying this life. A bit later, Zagan finds a book related to his emblem. Over at the church, Lord Raphael appears and asks Chasteel how many mages she has killed. She refuses to answer, and he's impressed by her lack of fear. The priest gives Chasteel her sword back so she won't die unarmed. Back with Zagan, he's drinking with Barbados, and they talk about his new apprentice when Raphael appears behind them. Barbados tries to fight, but Zagan stops him. He wants to drink in peace and knows Raphael isn't there to fight. Barbados helps the clerk who fainted from the tension. Zagan asks what Raphael wants and why he won't fight. Raphael says he only kills evil sorcerers and reveals that Chasteel refused to go after Zagan, which could put her at odds with the church and endanger her. Knowing Neffy is friends with Chasteel, Zagan threatens Raphael and tells him to stay away from her. Barbados says the best thing would be to kill Raphael right away, but Zagan isn't interested and orders Barbados to keep an eye on Chasteel using his shadow powers. Back at the castle, Zagan finds Neffy and Fol waiting for him. Neffy says Fol is trying hard to keep living there, but Zagan knows Fol thirsts for revenge over her father's death, and Raphael is a dragon slayer. Before doing anything, there's a romantic moment between Zagan and Neffy that Barbados ruins by barging in, which ticks Zagan off, but Barbados explains that Chasteel has been poisoned. Fol wakes up and, seeing the church sword, tries to attack Chasteel. Zagan stops her. Fol says a sacred sword killed her father. Zagan explains that killing Chasteel won't change anything. Revenge is about making the enemy suffer rather than killing quickly, and he himself has already made the mistake of killing too soon. When Chasteel wakes up, Zagan says she was poisoned and asks what she remembers. She says she received a letter and met a man from a faction who offered her protection if she joined them, introducing himself as Oroba. Soon after, she drank the poisoned tea. Hearing that, Zagan leaves, but Chasteel asks him to stay a bit longer, since Neffy is sleeping, he stays and reads a book. The next day, Chasteel ends up helping Neffy with the cleaning, and Foal keeps provoking her because of her hatred of the sacred sword. Zagan explains that to Chasteel, and over time Foal plays all sorts of pranks. Zagan finds it funny that she's using tricks instead of brute force. 10 days pass, and Foal writes about how this new tenant is a nuisance, completely useless, always falling for her pranks. Zagan comes to talk because he wants Foal to ease up on Chasteel and asks if Foal wants to live in the castle as long as she wants. She accepts, but her desire for revenge is still strong. She knows that if she stays there she'll forget about her vengeance and all that hatred will fade. So she runs away to Marcosius's castle to gain power. And there she's confronted by Raphael, the man who killed her father. Foal charges him, but before she's defeated Zagan appears, having used Barbados as a teleport. Raphael is curious, a sorcerer defending a dragon? Zagan explains that Foal is his daughter. Raphael shows his true strength by imbuing the sacred sword with magic. But Zagan wants his full potential, so he can show Foal how to take revenge properly. He says he learned how to defend against sacred weapons from Chasteel, and with Marcosius's knowledge he's improved even more. Raphael gets more and more frustrated. Neffy worries about the fight, and Chasteel prepares to enter the battle too, now unsure which side she's on, the sorcerers or the churches. Neffy says she can't go because Zagan ordered her to stay, but Chasteel can still choose, and despite everything, the two will remain friends. Chasteel reaches the battlefield. Raphael, even while taking a beating, can regenerate. He drank dragon blood. Foal reveals her father's name, Oroba, a legendary dragon who lived for many years and always helped humans, including the angelic knights, until he was killed by one. Hearing this, Raphael lunges at Foal again, but Zagan blocks him. Foal unleashes an explosion spell, and Chasteel arrives blocking both Foal's spell and Raphael's sword. Raphael says he has something to say, but Foal's deflected spell ends up activating a golem left behind by the former archdemon. Zagan tries to control it using his emblem, but it doesn't work. The golem targets Foal, and Raphael is the one who saves her. Zagan destroys the golem. Raphael explains that on the day he died, Oroba intended to kill an extremely powerful demon to prevent further invasions. Zagan confirms that demons exist. He has fought one. Oroba gave his life to protect the world. No human could have killed a dragon like him. Oroba himself asked Raphael to drink his blood so he could continue guarding the world, which is why Raphael founded the Oroba faction to gather powerful members and keep the world safe. In the middle of the conversation, the golem revives. No matter how many times it's destroyed, it returns, making the fight complicated. In the end, Zagan decides to drain all of the golem's mana using a complex spell that merges celestial and dark mana. Raphael is gravely injured, losing an arm and a lot of blood, but Zagan heals him with magic. Raphael admits he's killed many sorcerers because they always attacked him, even when he didn't want to fight. Zagan snaps at him. Even at the bar, he shows up with an aura like he's about to destroy everything, and tells him to stop making that face. Foal loses the urge to seek revenge and decides to return to the castle. As for the priest, he'd long planned to kill Chasteel to recover her sword, but Raphael, already aware of his intentions, shows up and, even with one arm, decides to kill him once and for all, the first time he kills someone by his own will. The next day, Chasteel says goodbye to Zagan because she's decided to follow her path in the church, and Foal admits she'll miss her. Raphael also shows up, now healed thanks to elven medicine, and joins Zagan as a butler. Actually, at Foal's request, she even gives him a new arm, which is the armor she used to wear. Barbados gets annoyed at being forgotten during the conversation, and Zagan tells him to keep an eye on Chasteel. The following day, after all the chaos, Foal returns to writing in her diary. She feels better now that there's a new family member, someone helpful who cooks as well as Neffy. There's just one thing she doesn't like. He won't let her watch Zagan and Neffy's romantic moments. To him, she's too young. Even though Zagan and Neffy are so slow, they're still shy about even kissing. Later, the three go into the city to shop, and people no longer fear Zagan. Of course, they stop by Manuela's shop, where Zagan becomes interested in a record player. Manuela explains that it's broken and was left by street kids looking for a buyer. Zagan remembers how, as a child, he also scavenged things to sell, so he buys the player and even leaves extra money for the kids. Back home, Barbados and Chastille show up for a meal. After dinner, Zagan tries to fix the record player with magic, and it works. Neffy starts singing along with the music, enchanting Zagan, and without thinking he invites her to dance even though he's never done that before. Raphael teaches him the proper steps. The next day, Zagan decides to share the music with the whole city and, without meaning to, creates a festival. And so, Zagan goes from a lonely mage to an archdemon with a family.